The Dubois family, John, Amelia, young Daniel, and little Lily, arrived at their new home. Victorian, imposing. Shadows stretched long on the sprawling lawn as they unloaded the moving van. The house, with its intricate carvings and faded grandeur, held a curious charm. Excitement bubbled in Daniel, an adventurous 8-year-old, at the prospect of exploring the nooks and crannies of this old house. Lily, still a toddler, clung to Amelia, her eyes wide with a mixture of fascination and fear. John, pragmatic and grounded, saw a project, a home to restore to its former glory. Amelia, however, felt a shiver, an inexplicable unease that whispered of secrets hidden beneath the house's charming facade. Amelia would hear them late at night, a murmur just beyond the edge of hearing, a cold spot in the hallway, a sudden drop in temperature that made her shiver despite the warmth of the summer night. John dismissed it as old house sounds, drafts, the creaking of aging timber. Daniel, however, started having nightmares, his sleep disturbed by shadowy figures lurking in the corners of his room. Lily, too young to articulate her fear, became clingy, refusing to be alone, her innocent eyes reflecting a terror she couldn't understand. Amelia tried to rationalize it all, attributing the sounds to the wind, the cold to faulty insulation, and the children's fears to their active imaginations. But deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted, a chilling suspicion that something was amiss in their new home. The whispers grew louder, more distinct. They seemed to emanate from the walls, carrying fragmented words, snippets of conversations long past, a name repeated over and over, Eliza. The air grew heavy, thick with an unseen presence that sent shivers down their spines. The house, once a source of excitement and wonder, began to feel oppressive, a cage of unseen forces closing in on them.
I saw her again. The lady in white. Narrator. Daniel's nightmares escalated. No longer just shadowy figures, but a woman in a white gown, her face obscured by darkness, her voice a mournful whisper calling his name. He woke up screaming, his small body trembling, his eyes wide with terror.
It's okay, Lucas. It's just a dream.
Lily, sensitive to the unseen, refused to enter certain rooms, her tiny hand clutching Amelia's, her eyes filled with a silent terror that spoke volumes. Amelia, her maternal instincts taking over, tried to shield her children from the growing unease. She told them stories, sang them songs, anything to distract them from the growing sense of dread that permeated the house. But the fear was contagious, seeping into her own heart, amplifying the whispers, making the shadows seem longer, darker. John, ever the pragmatist, remained skeptical. He dismissed the children's fears as childish imagination, the whispers as old pipes, the cold spots as drafts, but even he couldn't deny the change in the atmosphere, the palpable tension that had gripped the house, turning it from a sanctuary into a prison of fear. One evening, as John sat reading in the study, a book slipped from the shelf behind him, landing at his feet with a soft thud. He turned, heart pounding, but saw nothing. The room was empty, yet he felt a presence, a cold breath on his neck. He tried to dismiss it, but the feeling persisted, a chilling certainty that he was not alone. Amelia, preparing dinner in the kitchen, saw a fleeting shadow cross the hallway, a glimpse of white disappearing around the corner. She called out, but there was no answer, only the echoing silence of the old house. Later that night, as they lay in bed, a cold spot settled over Amelia, so intense it felt like an icy hand gripping her heart. She gasped, clutching John's arm, fear constricting her throat. He held her close, trying to soothe her, but even he couldn't shake off the unsettling feeling that had settled over the house, a growing certainty that they were not alone. The whispers, the shadows, the cold spots, they were all pieces of a puzzle, a dark and terrifying truth that was slowly revealing itself. Desperate for answers, Amelia, driven by a mother's fierce love and a growing sense of dread, suggested a séance. John, despite his skepticism, agreed, hoping to alleviate the children's fears and restore a sense of normalcy to their lives. They gathered in the living room, candles casting flickering shadows on the walls, the air thick with anticipation and apprehension. Amelia, guided by an old book on spiritualism, led the séance. The children, their eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination, held hands, their small bodies trembling. The room grew colder, the candle flames danced wildly, casting grotesque shapes on the walls. A low hum filled the air, vibrating through the floorboards, seemingly emanating from the very heart of the house. And then a voice, faint at first, then growing stronger, clearer. A woman's voice filled with sorrow and longing.
"Eliza," it whispered, "help me." The name echoed through the room, sending shivers down their spines. The air crackled with an unseen energy, the room pulsating with a presence both terrifying and strangely sorrowful.
The voice, the name Eliza, sent John on a quest to uncover the house's history. He delved into local archives, poring over dusty records, piecing together the fragments of a forgotten tragedy. He discovered that a woman named Eliza had lived in the house over a century ago. Her husband, a prominent businessman, had been suspected of her murder, but no evidence was ever found. The story, shrouded in mystery and whispered rumors of a haunting, sent a chill down John's spine. He realized that the whispers, the shadows, the cold spots were not mere figments of their imaginations, but echoes of a past trauma, a lingering presence trapped within the walls of the old house. Armed with this knowledge, John knew he had to confront the past, to find a way to appease Eliza's spirit and bring peace to their home. He shared his findings with Amelia, the story sending a wave of sadness and a strange sense of empathy through her. They decided to tell the children carefully, gently, framing it as a mystery to solve, a way to help Eliza find peace. Daniel, his fear now mixed with a sense of purpose, eagerly agreed to help. Following a hunch, John ventured into the attic, a space untouched since they moved in. Covered in dust and cobwebs, it was a repository of forgotten memories, remnants of lives lived and lost within the house. As he explored further, a glint of metal caught his eye. Beneath a pile of discarded cloth, he found a small, ornate silver locket. He picked it up, brushing away the dust, his heart pounding. The locket, cold to the touch, felt heavy, weighted with unseen sorrow. He opened it carefully. Inside, a faded portrait of a woman, her eyes sad, her lips curved in a wistful smile. Eliza, and beneath the portrait, a single word etched in elegant script, forgive. The locket, a tangible link to the past, confirmed their suspicions, solidified the truth of Eliza's presence and her plea for help. They gathered in the living room, the locket resting on the table, its silver surface reflecting the flickering candlelight. The air felt different now, charged with a sense of purpose, a shared understanding of the task before them. They had to help Eliza find peace, to release her from the chains of her past. And to do that, they needed to understand her story, to uncover the truth of her tragic fate. Guided by a book on ancient rituals, John, with Amelia and the children by his side, prepared for a ceremony of release.
They gathered in the attic, the space now cleansed and filled with the soft glow of candlelight.
They placed the locket on a small table, surrounded by flowers and herbs, symbols of peace and remembrance.
Amelia, her voice trembling but firm, read aloud the words of the ritual, her voice echoing through the attic, reaching out to the unseen presence that lingered there.
John, holding the locket in his hand, poured his heart into the words, expressing their empathy, their desire to help Eliza find peace.
Daniel and Lily, their eyes wide with wonder and a newfound courage, added their voices to the chant, their innocent energy amplifying the power of the ritual. As the final words were spoken, a gust of wind swept through the attic, extinguishing the candles, plunging them into darkness. A wave of cold washed over them, so intense it felt like an icy hand gripping their hearts, and then silence, a profound heavy silence, as if the very air had been sucked out of the room. And then, slowly, the feeling of oppression lifted, replaced by a sense of peace, of release. The house felt different. The oppressive atmosphere had dissipated, the whispers silenced, the shadows receding into the normalcy of an old house. But Eliza's presence lingered, not in a haunting way, but in a sense of peace, of gratitude. A subtle shift in the energy of the house, a feeling of contentment replacing the sorrow that had permeated the walls for so long. Daniel's nightmares ceased, replaced by dreams of Eliza, no longer a figure of fear, but a kind and gentle presence. Lily, once afraid to be alone, now skipped through the house, her laughter echoing in the hallways, her eyes sparkling with a newfound joy. The house, once a source of fear, had become a home again, a sanctuary filled with love and laughter, the echoes of the past, now a gentle reminder of the lives that had touched its walls. John and Amelia, their bond strengthened by the shared experience, felt a sense of closure of having played a part in healing a wound that had festered for over a century. The house, once a symbol of fear, had become a testament to the enduring power of empathy, of the ability to confront the past and find peace, even in the face of tragedy. Life returned to a semblance of normalcy. The Dubois family thrived in their Victorian home, the echoes of the haunting fading into memory. Yet a lingering unease remained, a sense of unresolved mystery. Eliza's story, though partially revealed, still held secrets, unanswered questions that whispered in the back of their minds. The locket, kept safe in a velvet-lined box, served as a constant reminder of the past, of the unseen forces that shape our lives. It was a tangible link to a world beyond our understanding, a world where the veil between the living and the dead is thin, where the echoes of past tragedies can reverberate through time, touching the lives of those who dare to listen. The Dubois family learned to live with the mystery, accepting that some things are better left unexplained. They carried with them the lessons learned, the empathy gained, the understanding that even in the darkest of times there is always hope for peace, for resolution, for the enduring power of love to transcend even the boundaries of life and death.